Opanyomi? No. Okay. Tumana?
Okay, I don't know whether we are at page 3. 2, okay.
Fonyi Brevet, are you okay? Good, thank you. Okay, we move on to page 3 then. Yes, Tumana, page 3.
Yes, in attendance, page number 29, where you have Honorable Dembaso, Nyamina West. I think that's a mistake.
Actually, this continues to be an issue, and I have drawn the attention of the table office, but we'll try to solve it once and for all. Thank you. Thank you. Any more on page 3?
Yes.
Page 3, yes, Sabah Sanjal.
Yes, number 36, Honorable for the Gassama, nominated member. I think it's no more honorable member. And if you go down further, you have number 48, Honorable Kewa K. Barrow, Majority Leader. The title is under the names. Likewise, the Minority Leader. I think it should be corrected.
Well, I don't see anything wrong with the name, except that probably the alignment on the line is not very tidy.
What I mean is, you have Kewa K. Barrow, Majority, the leader, and Combo South is under the name column. It should be under the title column. For consistency, that was what we are having. Yeah. Yes.
Yes, thank you, Sani Mentere. Are you on page 3?
Yes, my name is not captured.
Previous page. Okay, thank you. Yes, we will ensure that it is inserted. Yes, Fonyi Jarol.
Thank you, Madam. On that day, I was absent and I've seen my name on number 31.
Thank you. Any more? Yes, Honorable Deputy Speaker.
Not captured. My name is not captured. Yes, I was here.
Table office, please take note. Any more omissions or wrong spelling? Yes.
Honorable
Nominated member.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, they still have Honorable Fode Gassama in my place on the list. It's corrected. Okay, thank you.
Also the number, where? 36. Yes, thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Any more corrections, honorable members?
Supersonics Money Transfer is giving you an unbeatable bonanza from now until the end of October. Yes! From now till the end of October, you stand a chance of winning a bag of rice when you receive monies in the Gambia, Europe, USA, Canada, and Switzerland with Supersonics Money Transfer.
Ordinary session of 2020 in very honest.
Point of order. Point of order. Point of order.
Point of order. I think this is a serious, it needs to be corrected. Yeah, the language is not proper. So he's drawing our attention to it so that it can be amended.
Yeah, but we are deviating from our laws, Honorable Speaker. We are deviating from our laws.
I haven't given the floor yet. I just want to ensure that let the table office capture it and make sure that it is corrected, because it doesn't make sense for it to read, "The Honorable Speaker prayed to Allah the Almighty to continue to guide the Assembly throughout this third ordinary session in very uncertain times admits." I mean, obviously it doesn't make any sense. So that's why he is saying that it should be rephrased and put in proper language, which I think is right. So table office, please take note of that whole paragraph. Page 4, it needs to be rewritten. Now, I will take Jara East. One by one, we will get there.
Honorable Speaker, thank you. I'm rising on clause 26(2) of the standing orders. For members to rise while addressing the Speaker. Thank you.
Salum.
Well, it's the same thing also. He should be standing up when he's addressing the Speaker. He should be standing up. The Honorable Member for Woodley West should be standing when he's addressing the Speaker, so he should not sit down.
Honorable Woodley West, probably they want you to set better examples, being the veteran or one of the veterans, that you rise when addressing the chair. Thank you. Yes. Any more corrections on page 4? Any more? No? Okay. Page 5. Teachers. We are satisfied with yes, Woolly East.
Yes, when you, Honorable Speaker, when you go to question put and agreed to, the last paragraph, the ayes had should be part of the preceding paragraph. Did you see it? Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it, should be part of that one. Should be separated from the, all right. Thank you.
Yes. Page 7. Yes, let me take care East. Page 7.
Oh, sorry. The motion was ruled out by Honorable Speaker, arguing that she will not make an immediate decision but promise to address the situation with due diligence. So rule out, a word is missing. I think it should be by the Honorable Speaker. We insert by, or maybe we put a full stop and say the motion was ruled out, and then pick a new sentence and said Honorable Speaker argued that she will not allow those two. Thank you.
Yes, the same paragraph. Honorable Speaker argued that she would not make, instead of she will not. And then when you go to, under the Attorney General, the second line, contained in the order paper would be done today, instead of will be done today. Thank you.
Honorable Member for Basse.
Honorable, thank you. If you look at the last paragraph, at this juncture, Honorable Speaker acknowledge that the bill has been read a first time and appointed. I think we agreed on Wednesday, that's today. But we have Tuesday.
In time, the honorable member for Lower Badibu drew our attention, and the issue of the time, the computation was discussed, and then we agreed for Wednesday. So I think you're right. We can indicate here that we agreed on Wednesday. And that was the reason why the assembly was adjourned to Wednesday today instead of yesterday. Thank you very much. Page 8. Yes, Woolley East.
Yes, page 8, last paragraph. We said section by section, but I thought we did it by part by part, rather than section by section.
Did it part by part.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. The committee, can you read the amendment at the consideration stage so that it reflects what happened or what was done at the consideration stage? Thank you. Yes, Jan.
Yeah, thank you. On the consideration stage, the Honorable Speaker reminded the Assembly that the joint committee should be committees, joint committees. Thank you. Page 8, on the consideration stage, the Honorable Speaker reminded the Assembly that the joint committee should be committees as opposed to committee. Thank you.
No. It's one joint committee. No, it's a committee. It's one joint committee.
There are two committees, but if the committees are joined, it becomes one committee. If they are joined, it becomes one committee. So I think it's correct that we say the joint committee. Are we satisfied with page 9, first, second, third, fourth and fifth paragraphs?
No.
Or you're still, yes, Woolley East.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, the number 2, it says part force. Did you see that? We take out the S. Was incited instead of on the bill, we say in the bill. And then when we go to 3, section 26, subsection, we should add section there, subsection. And then when you go to 4, again, at the end of the line, you have section 30, subsection. You put section there again. And then on the 5th one, the word female was added between 1 and representative at section 30, subsection. And in the last paragraph, where you say reprint, provide a reprint capturing all amendments. Yeah, thank you.
I'm sure the legal drafts person, whoever he or she is, will take note of that, because I don't think they usually use even sub. It will be read section 30 in brackets G, and it's automatically read as subclause or subsection. But I'm sure the experts will do when they bring the final version. Thank you. Page 10. Sorry. Are we satisfied with the amendments at the consideration stage? Yes. Honorable Member for Serekunda.
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, we started by considering the amendments on the 72 paragraph 4. I think it should be mentioned because the issue was about notice and we saw that without notice. So there was this submission by the member for Serekunda that the amendments are submitted for consideration as we move clause by clause. On the 9, we are talking about section 26. It's better we put clause 26 because this is yet to be an act. So we were reviewing it clause by clause. Since it is not a detailed one, Honorable, we will look at it and we'll just say with amendments. We'll adopt it, Honorable Speaker, with
Probably,
amendments.
if we want the details, what I can suggest is for the clerk to get in touch with the co-chairs
Yes,
and then
thank you.
sort it out and
Thank you.
finalize it in a neat way.
Thank you, we'll do that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It has been moved and seconded that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sittings of Monday, the 14th of September 2020 be approved with amendments. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. So the ayes have it. But before we proceed with clerk, please may I just recognize the presence of officials from the CRC. They are here with us today. Thank you very much. Clerk, can we proceed?
Yes, ma'am. Bill, Standing Order 67-1. Second reading of the bill. Debate on the general merits and principle of the bill. The Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia 2020. Promulgation Bill 2020 by the Honorable Attorney General and Minister for Justice.
Thank you very much. Honorable members will recall that the first reading of the bill, that is the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia Promulgation Bill 2020, was done on Monday, 14th September 2020, and the second reading scheduled for today will be done accordingly in accordance with Standing Order 67, Subclause 1. But before inviting the Honorable Attorney General to move a motion for the second reading, I wish to emphasize again that the bill shall follow due process and procedures as laid down in the 1997 Constitution, specifically Section 226, which is very critical. The said section, that is Section 226 of the 1997 Constitution, is equally important given the fact that the bill seeks to repeal the existing constitutions of Section 226(2)(a), which states, and I quote, subject to subsection 4, a bill for an act of the National Assembly under this section shall not be passed by the National Assembly or presented to the President for assent unless A, before the first reading of the bill in the National Assembly, the bill is published in at least 2 issues of the Gazette, the latest publication being not less than 3 months after the first, and the bill is introduced into the National Assembly not earlier than 10 days after the last publication. Accordingly, honorable members are already aware that the bill has been published twice in the Gazette, the first being on the 28th of May, 2020, and the latest publication was on the 28th of August, 2020, not less than 3 months from the first publication. The respective Gazette publications have been circulated to all honorable members. Therefore, pursuant to, Clause 671 of the Standing Orders I now invite the Honorable Attorney General and Minister for Justice, to move a motion for the second reading of the bill entitled The Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia 2020, Promulgation Bill 2020. Now, Honorable Minister.
Clarification. Point of clarification.
Sorry.
Honorable Speaker, you've read clearly Section 226, 2B, which says that the bill is supported on the second and third reading by the votes of not less than 3/4 of all the members of the National Assembly. Do we have that quorum? I think we should first check into that before just moving with the debate, because ultimately we'll have to vote after the second reading.
Just to confirm that we have the required number of members.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, because we'll be voting.
We are aware of the constitutional requirement, but I just want to confirm what you have just said. You want us to confirm that at least we have 42 members.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, I'm proposing that we confirm.
Confirm that we have at least 42 members, right? Yes. My technical team is thinking that we're taking a vote. We're not taking a vote. I think we're just being on the better side of caution, just to ensure that we have the requisite number. That's all, but we're not taking a vote. I think, are we together? Yes, just to confirm. It may be easier for the table office if you raise your tags for him just to count. Thank you. You start from the last, yes. It's just to confirm. Honorable members, it's been confirmed that we have 51 members. So are we all together? We're satisfied? Good. So we can now proceed. Thank you. Thank you very much for that observation. Now, may I invite the Honorable Attorney General? Thank you. Honorable AG.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I wish to move that the bill entitled The Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia 2020, Promulgation Bill 2020, be read the second time. Briefly, Madam Speaker, the objects and reasons of this bill is to seek to provide for the promulgation of the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia 2020 and to repeal the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia 1997. I move on those terms. Thank you.
Very much. Any seconder? It is a Fonyi Bintang Karanlai.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I write to second the motion.
Thank you very much. Motion has been moved and seconded, and in accordance with clause 67(1) of the standing orders, I will now open the floor for debate on the general merits and principles of the bill. Before giving any honorable member the floor, I wish once more to strongly emphasize Standing Order Clause 67(1), that the debate shall strictly be on the merits and principles of the bill. And I will not hesitate to call any honorable member to order if there is any deviation from this. The debate is now just on the merits and principles, not on the details of the bill. Furthermore, after the debate on the general merits and principles, a vote shall be taken on the second reading as required by section 2262B and 4B of the 1997 Constitution. A vote of not less than 3/4 of all members is required before the bill can proceed to the next stage of the process. This procedure is quite peculiar, and I wish every honorable member to kindly take note of it. Now, I will now invite honorable members who wish to partake in the debate to do so. And can we take down the honorable members, can take from this side and also from this side. Thank you. Office can record it properly. From this side, I have taken. Just to confirm the list that has been given to me, from my right-hand side, I have Kumbos Kiang Central, Birkama North, Birkama South, Bundunka Kunda, Jara East. Any more on this side? Central Badibu, yes. Can I? From here, I have nominated member, they are Seka, Wuli West, Serekunda, Wuli East, Banjul Central, Basse, Nyamina East, Minority Leader, Nyamija. Jara Central. Yeah, Banjul North, you are here. Am I right? No, he's not, sorry. Oh, it's Banjul Central, yes. Banjul North and Jara Central. Please, we want to take the list so that we'll be able to manage the time. Lower Nyomi, Tumana.
Honorable Speaker.
Lower Salum. Lower Salum has raised his tag, yes. Any more? Yes, sorry.
observation. Honorable Speaker, is it that we want to make it a condition that people should be registered all at one time before the proceeding starts? Is that what you want? Is that provided in the...
No, we are not, okay, sorry. You've asked a question.
As the proceeding is going on, it's not finished, let's start for, if you feel any time to make this intervention.
You will agree with me that there has been instances when people have indicated that they want to have the floor, and when it is time for them, they withdraw. So it's just for us to manage the time, not that we are conditioning anybody. Nobody is being conditioned, anything. It's just for purposes of time management. And also to be fair, because I don't want any on my right hand to say that I am giving them preference over my left side or in front of me. That's the only reason, so that I'll be taking from here, from there, from there. Are we all together? Thank you. Honorable Member for Kiang Central, thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, first I want to thank the members of the Constitutional Review Commission for a job well done. If you looked at the draft that we have before us, it has really captured the aspirations and wishes of the Gambian people. They have done an extensive consultation. I want to believe for the first time in the history of the Gambia that people were asked as how they should be governed. Consultation was done in a more detailed manner. Honorable Speaker, the essence of review is to improve on the current constitution that we have. And then I want to believe it's one of the reasons why we are seeing the emergence of new independent institutions in our draft. You have the Anti-Corruption Commission, the National Human Rights Commission. We cannot strengthen our democracy in the absence of such institutions. So I believe the draft constitution, if you go through it, you will find out that an expansion has been done in that area. Honorable Speaker, the Teacher Service Commission and the Health Service Commission are all new elements that have come across in the draft. And these are all institutions that are really essential. These are all institutions that are really important to care for the people that are affected in those sectors. So I believe the draft constitution, the National Assembly members will have the opportunity to go through and then look at it in detail. Honorable Speaker, the public finance also is another area that has been exhausted. Transparency and accountability is very essential to ensure democracy, and we need to have protective mechanisms in place. They are really key. So I want to believe the CRC has really done a better job. Honorable Speaker, we are all aware of the current development that are really happening within the sub-region. It is important that we have what is called a presidential term limit. These are all measures to control, these are all measures to protect the people, to put an end to dictatorship and as well as stop corruption. Because what I realize is the belief is that when you stay more in power, the probability of you being corrupt is there, and it is very huge. So this is why I think we are one of the few countries, if not the last country in the entire sub-region, where in our current constitution, we don't have a presidential term limit. And then we must not stop at having only presidential term limit, but we must entrench this particular provision in the Constitution to an extent that nobody will be able to amend it to go for a third term or whatever. We all know what is happening around Africa. And then if this is not done, our democracy will not be enhanced. Honorable Speaker, the National Assembly in the draft constitution is being looked at, and then the autonomy of the National Assembly is one of the things that is really extensively looked at. And I want to believe that the National Assembly, being an oversight institution, should be independent in terms of their functions, in terms of their finances. So these are some of the areas that was looked at, and I'm really satisfied the way and manner in which that particular person has been, dealt with. So these are some of the few observations I have made on the draft constitution, Honorable Speaker, and I really thank you for giving me the floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Honorable Member for Sami.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving me the floor. Madam Speaker, I would also want to thank the CRC for a job well done. For the simple fact that this CRC, they have gone round to all the areas, hear from them what they want to see in the draft constitution. What we see in the draft constitution, it is not the making of the CRC. It is the making of our own people. It is our own people that they want to see a change the way this country is run. So, Madam Speaker, I definitely want to thank the whole Gambians, those in the Gambia and those in abroad, because they all contributed in drafting this draft constitution. And the CRC, they do all best to see that their inputs are there. So, Madam Speaker, when we look at the chapters, the old one and the new one and the parts, we can definitely see that there is a lot of improvements. There are a lot of improvements there. Like if you look at the specific rights, you go to look at the old one, the rights that are identified for the new draft constitution are not in the old ones. So, Madam Speaker, this draft constitution is a very good one. When we look at the governance issue in the draft constitution, it's welcoming. If you look at the old one, most of the appointments are done by the president with no confirmation. But when you look at the current one, the draft one, it has to be confirmed by the National Assembly. So I think this is a very good draft, Madam Speaker. And the autonomy of the local government, for them to do their work effectively, independently, without any hindrance. It is clearly stated in the draft constitution. And even the autonomy of the National Assembly, as the others have said, for us to do our work effectively, we must have our independence, so that we can move freely. Whatever we want to do, which is in line with the Constitution, we can do it. So, Madam Speaker, when you look at it, democracy, in the new one, you look at it, you will definitely know that this new draft has indicated gender representation. But the old one does not indicate. But this new one went up to an extent of identifying every region the representation of women and even persons with disability. And there will be no nomination for the president. So I think even youth representation is also indicated. As the other speaker said, the term limit is also there. We all know where we are from. Where we are from. We don't want somebody to overstay there for 20 years. Those days are gone, Madam Speaker. Those days are gone. So on that note, I thank the CRC and I thank the whole Gambians for coming up with this draft constitution. And I'm definitely in support of it. Madam Speaker, I thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Honorable nominated member, Ndeyasin.
Thank you very much, Ma. I want to commend CRC. Really, they need a tap at the back. And then, Honorable Attorney General, I thank you for moving this to be supported. The principles and merits. It is a history that this constitution will replace the 1997 constitution amended for 52 times or more. And this is what we are really trying to do away from. Gone are those days when the Gambians do not even know anything about the constitution. There was a time when I listened to the debate of the National Assembly. By then I was not working. I even did not know that I may be a National Assembly member. When I heard one of the members of this National Assembly, not this one, but now some of that time is a history and I will never forget. When somebody talked about the constitution, one person got up and said, this is not a library of a constitution, where you know that you are talking from the National Assembly. By then, I even didn't know, but I just got up. I was sitting, but I have to stand up. I say, if the National Assembly is not the place for us to discuss anything about the Constitution, then where are we going to talk about the Constitution? By then, nobody, even the Gambians, were not interested to know anything about the Constitution. And this Constitution is the Constitution that is guiding us. It's our guidance. That is why, where were we? We were at nowhere. And those days have gone and it should go now. It should be a history. And here, we, the National Assembly members, the Attorney General, the CRC, everybody should try and leave a good legacy, even the President. That this National Assembly is the National Assembly that comes up with Gambia to change, or Gambia has decided, or you give it any other name. We are saying that when we come here, we will reform as much as possible. And this, I think this is the right way to reform. That is to come up with this, to change the Constitution. Even to change the Constitution shouldn't have been so long. We should have just go with the 1997 Constitution and look at those Strike-Union laws and take them out. But nonetheless, better late than never. This is a way forward, and we appreciate it. Now, Honorable National Assembly members, let us support this Constitution. How many millions have we put in this Constitution just to make it pass? I think we should try by all means to make sure that the Constitution from the CRC is here before us. Nothing can stop us from making some changes. Even me, I have some issues. That is the disability. When it comes to visually impaired, I heard on the radio that everything is on Braille, it's on audio, but I haven't seen it yet. I was so happy that if I go to my pigeonhole, I'll find it in Braille. But it's not. I cannot read it on my own. I have to use my children to read for me or to go to friends to read for me. Even if I have it on audio, it will be better. But if you see me talking all these things, it's because I have to find ways and means to know what is in the Constitution. So the representation of the disability, there is a room for improvement. There is a room for improvement. We need the Braille version, if not the audio version, for visually impaired. We need the light print, if not the audios for those living, for those albinos, because you see, the printing will be somehow small. They will not be able to read it properly. So when it comes to order, that is why I'm saying disability is a package. Maybe when it comes to other type of disabilities, maybe those with wheelchairs and those with hearing impairment, maybe you can do it with them. But what about the other type of disabilities? That is why there was a time when I say people living with disabilities, many people are saying physically challenged. Physically challenged is only one aspect of disability. I think it's better when the need arises, we Google and know what is disability and what is the type of disability that is in this world. There are many, many types of disabilities. Don't just rely on physically challenged. Physically challenged is just one aspect of disability. Maybe those people, what they will need is the structures, the buildings. Those are the ones that are using wheelchairs and crutches. But when it comes to other types of disabilities, they need more than that. How did I go to school? Was it that these printed versions are given to me so that I'll be able to read? I can read, I can write, but here I cannot. Because I don't have any writing material here before me for visual impairment. And I cannot read. Even this, I have to depend on my people. I cannot read the records of words and proceedings. It is just brought here on my table, so I have to struggle to let people read for me, or I listen attentively. So these are issues that we really have to put on board. I really thank you. I thank everybody. And long live the Gambia. And we pray for the peace of this country. Thank you.
Honorable, may I call on the honorable member for Basse? Thank you.
Madam Speaker, thank you. Also join the colleagues who have spoken before me to recognize the effort of CRRC and the cooperation of every Gambian within and outside the country, and all political parties and all community members. They have done their work according to the according to the Act of Parliament, which mandated them to provide a constitution for the people of the Gambia. And they cannot do so without getting the view of the Gambian people. The view were given to them, and they came up with a draft which is before us today in a form of bill for promulgation. Honorable Speaker, my points here are going to be very limited, as I also reacted during consultation, but my reactions are not being catered in this constitution. Honorable Speaker, I want to believe that if you want to protect your languages, the protection begins in the Constitution. The language policy of any country is read in the Constitution. This Constitution also didn't come with a language policy if you compare to other countries' constitution. For example, in Senegalese constitution, you have the official language of Senegal, but Mandinka, Wolof, Sere, Pular, etc. are the national language. They are given constitutional recognition. And that constitutional recognition of the national languages will help the Ministry of Education to come up with a better language policy. But still, we don't have that in the Constitution. That means there's no language policy in this country. And that has been my argument here at the floor of the House. And when I was consulted, this was my position. I hope that it will be captured. But unfortunately, for one reason or the other, it is not captured. So therefore, from my own point of view, a constitution without a language policy will give us a very difficult starting. Because all that we are trying to promote, being a culture, being a religion, being education, whatsoever, politics, cannot go without language. And that language shouldn't be left behind. And that's the interest that I'm defending here. So if it is not in the Constitution, that shows me that Constitution is not my Constitution, and it's not the Constitution of the group of people who are with me. Honourable Speaker, if you come to the users of medium of communication in the Parliament, we can see they have opened a room. Yes, the language could be used. The national language can be used as a medium of communication in the Parliament. But later on, we have seen that the room has been locked, because it's after 5 years after the coming in force of this Constitution. So if the Constitution is opening a new era, the moment the Constitution begins, all the room open should be used immediately. But that room was open, and later on it's been closed and conditioned. And what we are looking for is our freedom, our linguistic freedom, our linguistic independence. All that we are talking about, democracy whatsoever, it should have a beginning. And the beginning of everything, to my understanding, is our national languages. And if you look at the connotation that I have given to the languages, local, we have been saying that here. Here we don't have local languages. In the Gambia we have national languages. And I think if you are speaking the language of the Constitution, it should be a mature language. It should be a professional language. Because at the end of the day, this is going to be our power to get up and to move. But it's a wrong step. It will be very difficult to have a power to move with this, as far as I am concerned. Honourable Speaker, if you go to citizenship, just calling the attention of the drafter and honourable members that many countries that we know that are today observing or today monitoring political instability is related to this citizenship. Yes, your father and your mother, if they are Gambian, wherever you are born in, you can be a Gambian. But if you go to this extent of a grandfather, grandmother, let us think deep. We are making a very difficult decision. At the end of the day, everything will come back to us. And if you look at the political side, yes, presidential term limit are 2 terms, which I really appreciate. 5-year term, 2 occasions. You leave the place, somebody else will come. But when that will begin, what will bring that? Is when the room is created. And the room is this constitution, this bill, if it is now a constitution. That's the time a new era has begun for the Gambia. That's the time a new language has been created for the Gambia. Any activity related to this constitution should begin when the constitution has become, when the document has become a constitution and when it is in force. But having a step a step forward and having another step backward, you are moving, but you are not advancing. I don't know the technicality of the language they are using here, but it's important that the Attorney General and the Minister for Justice to help us to understand better. Separation of powers. That's the dictate of the democracy. And of course, why not our civilization? Now you are telling us the powers are separated, but we are telling us each arm doesn't have its own independence. You cannot function without the other. Though we agree that we are interdependent, but our independence also at the institutional level should be recognized. There are certain actions, if they are moved to other institutions, at the end of the day, it will bring a confusion. The president can appoint, and that appointment should be confirmed to the parliament. In fact, he cannot appoint, he can nominate. The appointment comes only after confirmation in the parliament. The president is responsible for the executive. The president needs his team, the people he wants to work with, the people who will not betray his trust and confidence in serving the nation. And don't forget that Parliament, yes, is a democratic institution, but Parliament is also a political institution. And don't forget that Parliament do recognize national interest, but also political interest. And we have seen what happened here some months ago, and why that happened. We have seen it. We don't want the same thing to be repeated. If we want to move, let's move genuinely. We cannot move in ambiguity. At the end of the day, the destination will not be cleared. I want to stop here. Honored Speaker, I thank you for giving me the opportunity